Hello and welcome to this episode of West Key Customs, where we tackle a Matchbox F-100 panel van. This is going to be a bit of a slightly different build. I've actually got two of these Matchbox panel vans, both identical, so we're actually going to do two different builds on these. One's going to be a fairly easy, straightforward, which is this build which I'm going to turn into a bit of a street rod. The next build will be something a bit more different, a bit more involved, and you'll see that one in part 2 over the next few weeks. But for this episode, we'll be just concentrating on the easier of the two builds, which will be the street rod version. As you can see, both of them are identical. Both of them have got signs of play wear, and just your normal sort of run-of-the-mill sort of Matchbox die cast. So here we go. Here's the two castings. As you can see, both of them got signs of sort of play wear. You know, the chrome's flaking off. There's chips on them. Both of them pretty much in identical sort of condition. There isn't one that's better than the other. But what we'll do is we'll take both of them apart now and get them both sort of stripped down, ready for the two builds. But as I said, just got to concentrate on one build first. And then once that's done, we'll move on to the second one. So first thing we need to do is obviously to drill the posts so we can open the casting up. Just need to get a drill and slowly remove the top of the rivet head, just enough so you can prise the base plate off of the casting. You need to be a bit careful because the base plate on these are plastic, so you don't want to go too heavy-handed and make the hole too big, which will mean that when you try and put a new screw in, it will fit through the hole, so you don't want to do that. So just need to gently take the rivet head off and then sort of prise it apart in between the body and the plastic. Also making sure not to damage any of the bumpers or the front grille, which is also part of the base plate. I need to take a little bit more off. This one didn't take enough out. So it's always best to do a little bit at a time, you know, because there's nothing worse than taking too much off and you can't obviously put that back on. So just take a little bit off at a time. Each time after I've taken a bit off, I've just given it a gentle sort of prise apart, see whether it works. There you go, the front part has come off. Just need to now gently pop the back bit off. There we go. So there's one. First one is all drilled apart. Just remove some of the swarf so it doesn't start scratching up the next one. Not that it matters too much because they're all going to get paint stripped and repainted, but obviously on this one again, need to remove the rivet heads. Obviously now I've got a bit of an idea of how far I need to go with the drill, because obviously I've already done the first one. So same again on this one, drilling off the two rivet heads, and I'll sort of gently prise them apart and see if this one, if I've gone through far enough on this one. Yep, this one's okay. Managed to get this one off without having to re-drill it a second time. Just need to prise the back one off. There we go. And there's the second one all taken apart. So we'll just remove this and we'll take them apart and have a look, see what we've got inside. So there we go. Here's the sort of casting body. As you can see, it's pretty basic. Got a bit of a strange sort of windscreen on this. Almost looks as if the windscreen should be bigger, but it's just the way it's done. Glass section, that looks all in good condition. Interior, bit of detail there in the back. Looks like there's a dog asleep on a box. Not that you can see it because the windows on the back are so small, and also they're blocked with the post going through it as well. Wheels just fall off the base plate. Not going to be using these wheels for either of the two models that we do. They're all going to have replacement wheels. But again, same thing in this one. Obviously the glass, the interior, so they're both identical, so they should both be exactly the same. But all looks in good, you know, relatively good condition. Need to get these two into the stripper now and get the paint off, and move on to the next stage. So here we go. So just moving on to one of the castings now. The other one I've stripped the paint off as well. As you can see, it's all been taken off. I'm going to remove the mirrors on these because I don't really like the looks of the mirrors. I've also as well, I actually put the base, covered the base with some oven cleaner in order to remove the chrome. As you can see, these mirrors on here are going to remove the mirrors because don't really sort of suit the casting. So as you can see on this one, the one that we're doing, I've actually already removed those and just giving it a bit of a clean up, taking some of the flashings off of the casting just to make it look a bit better. Here's the base. As you can see, I've paint strip that will put some oven cleaner on it, which has removed the chrome, just works in a matter of seconds. I've also sort of filed down the centre of the base because I'm going to need to kind of reinforce this, because obviously planning on getting this one sort of really down low. In order to get it low, I need to obviously file off the protruding parts of the base, and obviously once those are filed down, the front and the back will sort of won't be attached to the centre. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some reinforcer strips in and strengthen the whole base plate. I need to draw a couple of holes now because I am going to replace the mirrors, but I'm going to replace them with a bit more of a sort of period looking mirror. So I just need to do a couple of holes on the doors just so I can fit the new mirrors in at the end. So do this whilst it's not been painted, then that way you don't risk scratching the paint. And also you can sort of file down any sort of edges to the holes as well, just to make it nice and smooth. So just carefully lining the drill up, just drilling a very small little hole, just enough so I can put the new mirror in and put some glue in there and hold it in place. Goes through very, very easily. The casting itself is not particularly very sort of strong, very tough, so the drill goes in really easily. So that's the base, that's the body, all pretty much ready now. Just needs a final going over with the wire tool on the rotary, wire brush on the rotary tool. So here we go, just a quick mock-up. I've just given the casting a coat of white primer, and I've just put the wheels in place. They're not glued in or anything like that, so the wheels are just literally sitting in place, and as you can see, they're not sitting straight in the arches. That's just because they're just sitting in there at the moment. They've not been secured. But just to get an idea of the sort of stance and the overall sort of look, I've just done a quick mock-up in primer just to make sure we're sort of heading in the right direction, and I think we are. So next thing is to obviously take it all apart, give it a bit of a rub down, and actually get some colour on it. So here we go. Here's the finished model, all ready to be put together. As you can see, the wheels have now been attached to the base plate, and it is a roller. The wheels do move. Here's the body, giving it a coat of I think it's Ford electric orange, so it's kind of like a pearlescent metallic orange. Giving it a few coats in the base, and obviously giving it a couple of coats of lacquer. That's come out well. This one actually came out without any paint issues. First time with the base coat, first time with the lacquer, and it all seems okay. Doesn't need to be redone. Gave the interior a bit of a coat of paint, a bit of black paint. Also had to chop the back part of the interior off because it was rubbing on the wheels because of the lowered suspension. But you're not going to see it anyway because the windows are so small. Next thing to do is to get it all put back together. And here we go. Here's the finished model, all put back together. Unfortunately, I could only take still photos at this stage because for some reason my turntable did not want to work today. But overall, very happy with how this one came out. It was a fairly quick, straightforward build. The only bit of modifying was the base plate in order to get the suspension nice and low and to accommodate the new wheels. Really like how this turned out. Nice and simple. Put the new door mirrors on, just a bit more period looking. I think the wheels suit this perfect. There's plenty of them out there where they actually have these kind of wheels on it. Does look very, very good. Very happy with how it turned out. Just hope the next one that we got planned will actually turn out as good as this one. But the next one's going to be a bit more of a bit more involved. The next one, going to do a few more bits and pieces, make it look a bit different to a street rod. So going to start cracking on with that soon. So obviously just make sure you sort of keep your eyes peeled for episode 2, which will be the other die cast, the one that's been stripped already, and we'll be doing something a bit special on that one, and you'll see that, as I say, in episode 2. So thanks for joining us for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Just a quick, straightforward, nice, easy little turnaround. So second one will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Hope you enjoyed it, and obviously please subscribe if you like what you see. Plenty more videos to come. Thank you for having a look. Thank you very much.